So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the last Easy Talk of the season. And I'll tell you what, I'm knackered. It's been a long, old season. I'm feeling quite old, actually. We've got the Lighty Lads. We've got, two parts? Two. There should be three. We're waiting for the third one, Brother Isaac, to come back. But I was just saying before we went live, literally, there's no topics. I almost used the word agenda. There's no agenda. There's no topics. There's no topics. But we'll get into this one. It's going to be inside an hour and just see how this one runs. But we'll get into this particular Easy Talk, the last of the season, the last on the other side of this music intro. Yes, indeed, we are back. We are live somewhere across the universe, somewhere on planet Earth, somewhere in England. Yeah, I'm not about to give you my address. And lads, don't do it. Don't do it, lads. But anyway, before we get into the last East Talk of the season, remember, guys, that do subscribe to Cannon Fodder TV. Help us grow. I've noticed the numbers have kind of shot through the roof. I know what it is, Richard. Richard, it's almost transfer season. And people love to hear the news that we're linked to all the players that play across all the leagues on planet Earth. But anyway, let's say hello. It's a bit of an echo. John, how are you doing, geez?
How you doing, Alex? And thanks once again for letting on this show. It's been a great season, you know what I mean? Whatever Arsenal have done, we've had a right old laugh. It's been a roller coaster. We've seen and done it with the Arsenal, so you know what I mean. As much as we moan, it's been a great season podcast. You know what I mean? And I would I've met on here, Alex. I mean that, mate.
Yeah. Cheers for that, John. I actually just reminded me of something. I forgot to write up the list of all the contributors who contributed this season, and there were so many. I mean, we've lost a couple. They've gone off and do their own channel, but yeah, I think John's hit the nail on the head. But Richard, how are you, my friend? How have you been keeping?
Good, and as I'm going back to work, so that's good. And it's been a brilliant season. Thanks for having us on, and it's a joy to have been talking when we've had good results, and then when we've had bad results.
Yeah,
it helps.
Yeah, swings and roundabouts. But yeah, actually, before we get into this one, I do like just John touched on the fact that John and I have not met, although we were in the same room. Isn't that right, John? Hello, John. John.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I don't think
I think I've got a photo of me at the front with the Brady. And you was behind, and I heard you. So, Mr. Liam Brady question, and it was a good one as well. And yeah, this is how we connected. Isn't it? Your YouTube channel. You text me back, boss. You put me on the show, and it's to me. Thanks to old Liam Brady, and we've got to meet up, mate. Summer.
Absolutely. But again, all the contributors.
It's funny how things go.
Go on, John. Go on.
Yeah,
it's going to be one of the shows.
They've been brilliant, mate. It's been a pleasure coming on to meet all these goons. It never happened. You can imagine it in our day when we were kids. This was unheard of, you know, Alex.
Yeah. Social media.
So yeah, it's been fantastic to meet everyone and spat on my rubbish to everyone. But we're all goon opinions we've got. We're all goons through and through.
Yeah. All right, John. Okay. All right. We'll get the message anyway. So, like I said, there's no set topics. I just thought we'll probably need to do like an end of season roundup that's possible. And Richard.
See Arsenal do the best, whatever way we.
Nice one, John. Well said, Geezer. Richard, you.
Right.
I mean, for you, what was? Can you hear us? Oh dear, Richard, for you, what has been the best result?
Can you hear me?
Well, we can hear you, John. For me, best result's got to be the 3-1 win at Tottenham, hasn't it? But I mean, it's our neighbours, and always getting one over on them is good.
Yeah, I agree. It's always good to get one over the noisy neighbours who coined that phrase. I think it was Fergie, wasn't it? Noisy neighbours. I think John is back. John, for you, what was the best result of the season?
This season was when we beat Man United 3-1 at the Emirates because game with my daughter, and it was my second game back since COVID, and I went to the Liverpool game. We got beat. We had no chance of beating them, but that game for me was fantastic, and I really felt that we could win the Champions League, get the Champions League spot, not win the Champions League. I really felt we were back in with a shout of Champions League top four. I was convinced we were going to get it after that game. And the atmosphere there was fantastic. The fans have connected with the players. That's one thing I would give Mikel Arteta. He reconnected the fans back with the players and created a really great atmosphere back at the Emirates. The best I've seen it for a long time. And that was quite heartwarming to see, because sometimes we've all been to the Emirates and it's been pretty flat, do you know what I mean? Even against the big teams. But it kind of rekindled, gave us false hope, unfortunately, because after we beat them, I think, did we beat Chelsea and then we just went flat again, didn't we? It was so disappointing for all the fans and that were there. But what I take from this season, Alex, 5th spot is probably, it is where we deserve, because that's where we finished. I was thinking between 8th and 6th at the beginning, if we're lucky. We were looking terrible. But all our hopes got built up. You know, we were in a really strong position where we should have got top 4. I'm not going to keep going on about it, but we should have got top 4. We didn't get it. We know the reasons why we didn't get it. But next season, it'd be great for the fans just to be back in Europe. We didn't want that Europa conference what Tottenham was in last year. Do you know what I mean? We want a proper European competition. I ain't got what I wanted, but after Thursday night football, we just have to see what happens next season now. See who we get. I don't think we're going to get the players that if we was in Champions League, I think we would have got a better pedigree of players come to the Arsenal. We may still get that, but I don't think so. It's even happening now that they're turning this down because we ain't in Champions League. So we'll see, because that's what they got to do, is buy a main striker. Everyone knows that. If they don't get a top striker to complement Eddie, then they're not serious, are they? I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think the performance was the 4-2 win over Chelsea, and it's
that one's
frustrating,
good,
isn't it? Because, like you say, we lost against Southampton. That the 3-game losing streak, and all of a sudden we beat Chelsea. It's so frustrating, really frustrating. So John mentioned a striker there, Eddie Nketiah, Richard.
Yeah,
on the verge of signing a 5-year deal. Your thoughts on that?
Well, if you take his form in the 8 games he had, 5 goals. If you spread that over a season and he replicates that over an entire season, that's about 15 goals a season. That's fair enough. We know the figures being quoted is 100k a week, but we don't know how that's made up. Is that a bonus signing on fee? Is there incentives like so much per goal if we get into a Champions League, international appearances, etc. We don't know how that's incentivized. It could be sort of 50, 60k a week, and then a lot of add-ons in making it up to 100k. So, and we'll never know how that money's made up. So, we just have to accept that the club's done. I mean, they were over a bit of a barrel because, if he goes to West Ham, Crystal Palace, they're going to give him a big signing on fee and give him sort of 60, 70k a week, which would have added up to 100k a week. So what it does is allow us to go out by another striker and a wide forward. So that can contribute goals. We don't need two top strikers now. We get a first or second target. We have Eddie. We probably keep Florian Balogun as a third choice, and then, as I said, you have he might even go for a player that can play, a wide player that can play across all three positions. So you technically got three strikers anyway.
But I think there's been some comments from Martin Keown just warning Arsenal that one of their main issues as well as the striking department, John, is the midfield as well. Thomas Partey, we haven't seen a consistent performance from Partey. But your thoughts on Eddie Nketiah on the verge of signing a 5-year deal, John? Can you hear me, John?
I think he's frozen again.
Too long, see. But it's to be a lot of sort of 5 years seems a long. If he's going to prove himself in the future, maybe yeah. Personally, I'd give him a 2-year contract and see how it goes. You know what I mean? But he's up and coming. At the beginning of the season, I didn't think he was our standard. I think he has come into it and proved himself that he is well up for it. Let's face it, he did score a lot more than Lacazette.
John, you probably could have scored more than Lacazette. Yeah, John's got problems with. I can see the signal for John is not too strong. Yeah. So we've spoken about the best performance. What about the worst performance for you?
Well, you never like to get beaten by your nearest rival away, but for me, that was but you can't deny they're not a decent team. I think my most disappointing one would be Newcastle, because that was the one where we still had everything in our hands and we didn't go and perform. There was no kind of performance. If they'd gone and performed and lost 2-0, you'd say fair enough. But actually, I don't remember a player on that pitch performing to the best of their ability. So I'd say the Newcastle, because that's what ultimately cost us getting that fourth spot.
Right. But what about the sequence of losing 3 on the bounce, beginning of the season?
Yeah,
break, and then...
even though we'd lost them, we still had it in our own hands going into that Newcastle game. So when you go into that Newcastle game, knowing all you have to do is get an ugly win and make sure you match them for intensity, and you don't do it. So that has to be the disappointment for Newcastle, because that's the one where we threw it all away for me.
John, we're just talking about the worst performance of the season.
The worst?
Yeah.
That Newcastle, isn't it? Well, there was probably a few ones before that. Brentford, them first 3 games were shocking. I know we played Man City, didn't we? And Brentford, I can't think of the other one. Them first 3 games, I was watching them, they were shockers. I was like, what is going on here? But the icing on the cake was, well, actually, the Spurs game was a shocker as well, because we just started off like Linford Christie straight out the traps, but when what's his name Holding got sent off, it killed the game, and it was dead. That was just so disappointing. The game didn't even get started. Spurs just mullered us, and couldn't have been a worse team that could have done that to us, couldn't it? So that was a pretty horrific game. But how they turned up for the Newcastle game, what was at stake, and everything was at stake. There was just no heart, no desire. They were just flat. There was just no idea. It was such a letdown for the fans. To lose is one thing, but to not even get out of the traps, to not even look like winning, not even play a decent game of football. That was just really hard to take, Alex. You know what I mean? Really hard to take. I don't know what happened there. I thought all the fans should have got their money back, to be honest with you. Travelling all that way to Newcastle to see that, I thought it was disgusting. But there you go, through away Champions League.
Yeah.
Up in Geordie land, didn't we? So that's
so the season ended, Richard, with a 5-1 win against Everton. What did you predict, Richard? What was
I think I predicted 2-1 or 3-1, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was 3-1 actually, but I didn't see Everton troubling us, but I did see them nicking a goal, because the last sort of 10, 11 games we hadn't had a clean sheet, and possibly down to an erratic back four and Ramsdale's form dipping slightly. So that's why I predicted 3-1.
Yeah. What was your prediction, John, for
well, everyone laughed, didn't they? I said 5-0. I also said Norwich would win 5-0. So, but yeah, I just thought end of season at the Emirates, no pressure, got nothing to lose. Everton have survived. They've probably been out partying all night after escaping relegation. So it was just no pressure in that game. That's how Arsenal should have played against Newcastle and Tottenham. But yeah, it was just like a carnival, man. I think I'm on my way out here, Alex. But oh, blimey. But it was like, it was a great game for the fans. End of season, big party, big carnival. I said at the beginning, whatever happens, just get behind the team now. He's done and dusted. Norwich were never going to do it. I was living in hope, miracle might happen, but it never did. But you can't rely on other teams to do your favours. We was in a position, to secure Champions League, and to lose it against Spurs was terrible. But at least they put on a show for the fans last game of the season. But too little, too late, weren't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Richard, the player who didn't quite meet your expectation of the season.
Well, I think that's quite simple. It has to be Xhaka. 6 red cards and I like Xhaka, but 6 red cards in a season isn't acceptable. We have to credit Arteta. After the last red card, he moved him forward into and changed his role in the team slightly, and from that point onwards, he didn't pick up a red card. But before that, you're an experienced player. You've got to keep your head sometimes. You've got you can't be making, especially when you know that you can go in for a challenge, and it might not to another player. It's a yellow, but you know how you get treated by refs. You don't give them that chance. That's how I think, anyway.
Yeah. John, for you, the player that didn't quite perform to your expectation?
Probably Tavares. They just didn't get enough chances, did they? But I suppose, expectations were probably a bit too high for them. They've done the best they could, but they didn't hit the ground sort of moving. Same with Partey, really, to be quite honest. You know what I mean? We keep expecting to be like a new Vieira, but he has a couple of games, gets injured, and he's another one. To me, he flatters deceive. He's got it in him, but he just can't get it out of him. when and if he likes, you know what I mean? He just turns up when he wants to. And now he's got injuries. He's definitely a world-class talent, but he's not been used to his full ability. Unfortunately, we've not had I don't think we've had a steady midfield or a steady defence all season. Do you know what I mean? Because we just ain't got the depth in squad. So it's really important.
I've seen the stat that over the season we've had 13 different defensive partnerships.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Dearie me. Quite controversial, methinks. We put out a poll the last couple of days, Richard and John, and it's in regards to players who get injured. They're no use to us if they're always injured. So I named two players. Our number one left back, Kieran Tierney, and of course Thomas Partey. So I asked the question, if you had the choice of selling one of these two players, which player would you sell? And the polls are like this. So out of 729 votes, Thomas Partey, people voted 41% to sell Thomas Partey, and 59% of the subscribers say they would sell Kieran Tierney, Richard.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to sell one, I think Tierney, because Partey's thing was that he came to us, didn't have a pre-season, got injured, came back too quickly, got injured, had a good pre-season, and then got injured and came back too quickly. And this season, he'd had a good pre-season, got injured in that Chelsea friendly. Somebody did his ankle. He came back, was possibly not fully fit, but he lasted to. He then went to the Africa, got injured, came back, went to the Africa Cup of Nations, and he lasted to April, from January to April. So his injuries haven't been. But once you get one of those muscular injuries, you're more prone to them. But Tierney's been, since his time here, has been injury prone, and it's a worry in his position, but because of what he does, he's getting up and down, the amount of high intensity sprints, the amount of turning so on that basis, if I was selling anyone, I'd be looking to sell him and get somebody in who's of at least of equal quality and maybe a little less injury prone to.
But Richard, he didn't get injured while playing for Arsenal. He got injured whilst he was out on international duty.
No, he had the injury while he was playing for us. He'd been playing with that injury, and this may be where somebody in the physios, and he'd had a niggling knee pain, and he kept on playing through that pain. And then when he went on international, and it went completely. But maybe this is where Arteta or the medical team says to him, right, you've got a niggling pain. You've tried 2 or 3 games. Then you don't. You rest. We have a look at it, and then you get yourself fully fit, and then maybe you have to be a little stronger with him. But maybe that's his personality, that he wants to play through anything, but to the detriment of the team at the end of the season.
John, for you, who, given the choice, Tierney or Partey, which player would you sell?
Well, in that vote thing, I voted for Partey to go out. I said stick with Tierney, because, like I say, how many games has Partey played for us? You know, how many?
Yeah.
proper games as he gave us over 2 seasons, it's getting a bit of a joke. But Tierney, I think he gives 100% art when he's in the game. I'm not saying Partey don't, but I think Tierney, he's got the mindset. He's up for every game. Do you know what I mean? He don't need no motivation. He don't need no talk. But also injuries. And what was he? He was injured on a friendly, weren't he? With Scotland, something stupid like that.
Yeah.
You know, completely ridiculous. He should do what old Fergie used to do. He wouldn't let players out for these internationals.
Exactly.
That's what Arteta needs to wise up about. You know, he didn't need to go and play that game. Comes back injured, no consequence of Scotland. They don't care. And Arsenal will live short for the whole season. I think Arsenal have got some sort of problem in the medical room. You know, something with their training or something with all these injuries. We seem to have suffered a lot worse than anyone else. But if you remember, Alex, boring as it is, going back to January, what did we say? We need to, add a few more players because we're going to get caught short. And sure as hell, this is what happened. You know what I mean? We didn't buy any players, no cover. The team was stretched. The annoying thing was everyone knew that they was all going AFCON. You know what I mean? So we're losing players. So even more stretched. And, they went straight out the FA Cup, didn't they? And the semi-finals of the League Cup. We've got a couple of injuries, never really recovered. We sort of bluffed it for a while with old Lacazette, and then we come to like a brick wall. Started losing games. I think players were overused. Smith Rowe overused. Bukayo Saka, he's overused. They weren't getting rested. They didn't really get rested at the beginning of the season, them two young lads. And I don't think they recovered from it. Same as Martinelli. I think we didn't have the backup to help them, give them proper rest. And next season, now we're in Europa. We're going to be in 4 competitions. We need to beef that squad up. 6 more players minimum in my eyes. But I see Arteta bringing in the youngsters from under 23s and the academies. He will start bringing them through, like Patatino, Hutchinson. They will get used more in, like the League Cup games and that. Because that League Cup won't be of much interest to Arsenal. So they use the young lads in that. Unless it gets to the semi-finals and they start beefing that up again. But we've got serious problems. And no offense to Partey, I think Tierney has been more consistent over the last 2 seasons than Partey. On his game, I reckon Partey's one of the best players in the world in the midfield. But it don't happen enough, does it, Alex? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tierney's just consistent every game. Every game he plays, you're probably going to get 8, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 with him. He don't sort of give you a bad game unless he's injured.
Yeah. And so, Richard, the player who's been the player of the season for you, is it an easy one?
No, not for me. There's 3 standout players. I'd be looking at Saka, Ramsdale, and Tomiyasu. I mean, I don't remember Tomiyasu getting beat apart from that first game at Brighton in the first half where Raya gave him a bit of a torrid time, but he recovered from that. And I don't remember a player really giving Tomiyasu a torrid time. Ramsdale 13 clean sheets, and his distribution improved our game, and Saka's goals and the way he can lift the team. But if I was to choose any of those 3, you'd have to say Saka because of the goals he scored and the way without those 11 goals in the Premier League, we'd be in a worse position than we are.
Mm-hmm. But John mentions the fact that we didn't beef up the squad in the January transfer, and I know we've spoken about that, Richard. But is he not being overused, Saka, again? Another season?
Yeah, but I mean, you give Pepe. You've seen when Pepe's had the chance, and he would be the player you want to put in. He hasn't produced it. We only games were in the League Cup and that final game at Everton, and that pretty much every other game he's come on. I mean, I fully watched the Newcastle game over the weekend, and there was one pass, and he passed. He's cut inside. And passed it sideways, and the Newcastle players intercepted it. And it sort of epitomises his season this season. For whatever reason, lack of confidence, just not the ability to trust in himself to go outside a player. But he can do it, because we saw at Newcastle. We went outside, came in, and put the ball back for Odegaard. So he can go outside, but he tends to just not try it and come inside. He doesn't back himself enough.
But the strange thing, Richard, is that, last season
he had a good season last season.
Yeah, so
but you can only go on the present form, and the form this season hasn't been good enough for him, unfortunately. Whatever the reason, we don't know what the reasons are and why that is, but he's just not the thing. But then again, if you look at De Bruyne at Chelsea, that was a flop. Salah at Chelsea, that was a flop. But they've gone on to City and Liverpool. Maybe it's just the wrong team for Pepe, the wrong style of play. So that doesn't suit.
John, for you, the player of the season.
I've had a good think about it, and I think Ramsdale, when he signed, he was getting stick even before he signed off the fans for some reason, you know what I mean? Because he'd been relegated and played for lower teams. And he came in under all sorts of pressure, really conducted himself well. He's made some fantastic saves. I bet, if you went through what he's done this season, like Richard said, 13 clean sheets, that's pretty decent, do you know what I mean? He steadied that defence. For a little while, we had a solid defence until the injuries. And he was one of the main reasons. He gives that defence a lot of confidence. He gives them so much confidence. And some of the saves he's made have been fantastic. Not only that,
particularly, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think that Leicester one stands out.
He's a proper cat, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He did have a couple of naughty ones where he mucked up in the season, but that happens to the best keepers in the world. And trust me, Ramsdale, he's gonna be one of the best keepers in the world. He's only a young lad. He's still learning his trade. He kept Leno out all season, didn't he? Leno's a top international German keeper. But I think not only that, he's been like a 12th man. He's got the crowd going. He's got all the fans going behind us. When we've been behind, he's cheering him on. Sometimes he looks like he's playing up front. He's so far forward. I think you're going to get caught out here. Do you know what I mean? But he was like a breath of fresh air. He was just as a person. He was good. But to me, if he got Player of the Year for Arsenal, I think that'd be well deserved. The other two young lads, Smith and Xhaka, I'd say Xhaka's just slightly edges it for me, and he probably will win it. Do you know what I mean? He probably will win it. That's not my preference. This is what I think the Arsenal will give him it, because like Richard says, he's scored 10 goals. They've worked that young lad to the bone. Do you know what I mean? He's had so much on his shoulders. They've run him ragged. Just played him too many times. His engine was empty.
He started all but 2 games, I think, is what his stats are.
That's what I mean. That's fantastic.
That's pretty impressive.
And he give it apart, did he? Do you know what I mean? The players are targeting him as soon as he's on the pitch. They're kicking. The best thing for me this season, when he took the penalty, was it against Man United, or I can't remember. That gave him a lot of confidence, especially after the England thing, when he got up and I let him take the penalty. He scored it. I thought, That's brilliant, Joe.
Mm,
And he
mm,
deserves a lot of success, that young lad. But same as Smith, same as Martinelli. I don't think Martinelli had the best season this season, but he's another one. Too much on him, They keep expecting far too much.
mm.
They're young lads. I don't think any of them are over 21, are they? Between the three of them,
No,
but
No.
they're gonna get better and better. But they've got to have experienced players behind them.
Mm, mm.
They might not now because they've played them, but they're getting so overworked. And I said next season they've got four competitions, and they or three competitions: Europa, the FA Cup, the League
League
Cup,
Cup
and the
and Premier League.
Yeah,
So
the Premier League. So they're going to play a hell of a lot more games next season. So it's best they get some more players. But at least they're going to get a rest. They didn't really get a rest because of the World Cup, weren't it, last season? They come straight into it more or less without a break.
I think
Yeah.
Saka's got this silly in England silly FIFA competition, which is 4 games, isn't it? The whatever it's called.
Yeah. What's it called? What's it called now?
Something cup in it, or
Yeah. Anyway, guys, before we go into the live chat, I do want to push both of you on the issue of William Saliba, who has actually said that he would like to stay at Olympique Marseille. Richard, how do you see this one being played out? Because
his quotes were like that wasn't the full interview, and they took that section of quote out, and you used that. So it looks like he's pushing for a move to Olympique Marseille, which wasn't the case in the whole interview. But Arteta has said he wants him back, and as he said, he's gone to St Etienne. They played about 19 games.
yeah,
His mum's died. He's had an couple injuries, and then he's gone to Lyon, which is a step up. Not played a full season at Lyon because of those issues. Come back, and Arteta said he wasn't ready. I didn't think I could give him enough game time this season, so I've sent him out on loan again. He's gone to Marseille, who's in the top of League One, and he's performed this season. And Arteta said we'll bring him back. We will use him. He's our player. We will use him. Now it's down to him to come back and mark a place. Let's not forget now, Saliba can play left-sided centre back. He can play right back. He can play right centre back. So you could put and Ben White can play right back. So you can actually move Tommy Asu over to the left for Tierney. If we get Aaron Hickey in, he can play right or left. So we've got quite a solid foundation in covering across that back line then. And I think there are plenty of ample opportunities, especially away from home, to go to a back three with White, Saliba and Gabriel. I mean, he outperforms Gabriel apart from the goals. And I think the bit that he bits where he outperforms White is he gets into the opponent's half more, and his passing accuracy is slightly better. He's slightly worse off on aerial duels and defensive duels and interceptions, but not by much. So and you've got to take into consideration that some of the stats you're looking at are League One, a slightly lower league technically, and in pace and physicality as well. So you've got to take that into consideration. But he's had a fantastic season. He's got himself into the French national team. he comes back, and if he trains well and he plays well, Arteta will put him in above whoever's not, and it's down to him to say you can't afford to drop me. I'm the best defender you've got. I think that's how I see it. It's a hard one, but he's still got 2 years on his contract, and we hold the aces unless he forces a move. And I don't think he will force a move.
John, William Saliba.
Yeah, can't see him coming back, mate. Why would he? You know, ain't got much love, has he, off of Arteta? He's done fantastic over there. He's in the French national side. He's got Champions League football. He's probably got all his family and stuff over there, especially after his mum dying. God bless her. Arteta, no doubt, wants him back now. He needs him back ASAP. I don't know what the ins and outs are of his contract, sort of thing, but yeah, to me, I can't see Saliba coming back anytime soon. Hopefully, I'm proved wrong, but I can't see it, Alex. What's he got to come back for? Do you know what I mean? No guarantees of a place. He's probably one of the main men in his team now, so he might think, yeah, see you later, Arteta. I'm staying here, mate. You've had a couple of years to see what I'm like, and you ain't bothered, so I'll stay right where I am. He might have to come back. I ain't too sure how it works with these loan deals, but personally, nah, I don't think he's been given a lot of love by Arsenal, so I can't see why he'd want to rush back to the Emirates.
Well, he's not the only one. Apparently, Hector Bellerin has also said that he would prefer to stay where he is, and Pablo Mari as well. So I want to stay where I am. I don't want to go back to Arsenal. What's going on? What's going on at Arsenal? God damn me. Anyway, who's ever tuning in now? We'll probably see that we've got two of the likely lads waiting for the third one. Not sure what's happened to him, but we're just going through I don't know, season roundup on this last Easy Talk of the season. So make sure that you guys you do subscribe. We're going to go into the live chat and see who has joined us on this particular Easy Talk. And first up, we've got someone called St. Michael. He said, "Evening, Cannon. How are you? How are you, bruv? How are you, bruv? I'm all right. Thanks for asking." And Skolatska says, "Hi, I've been waiting for what?" I'm not sure. What are you waiting for?
What's he waiting for? Bus?
No idea. Every player will want to come to the Emirates now. They'll want to have a look at Wenger's new statue. Is it? Actually, guys, quick question. George Graham or Arsene Wenger for a statue? Richard.
I would have liked to see him get Wenger get a stand because he transformed the club. I think that would have been nicer. I mean, but if they're going down the statue route, that's fair enough.
For you, John,
I don't see why George Graham couldn't get one as well at some point, but because he did quite a bit for us.
For me, yeah. With that 89 thing the other day, I was watching it and thinking, do you know what? When we think back, that was phenomenal what George Graham did. You know, forget about Wenger for a minute. Beating Liverpool at their own ground 2-0, that was like a miracle. You know what I mean? No one in their right mind ever thought that was going to happen. We thought we'd blown it. George Graham was convinced we were going to beat them 2-0, and I believe that's what he did believe, you know what I mean? He went there knowing he played them tactically to a T. 0-0 at half time, come out 2-0, done them. He played that game perfectly. He deserves a statue, George Graham. You could say that about a few of the managers. So where do they sort of stop? Wenger seems to be the flavour of the day. It's sort of hard to compare them, two different eras, but in his era, Graham, I think he was on a par with Wenger without a doubt, and he set the standard with the defence for Wenger. Do you know what I mean? He helped him out with Adams, Keown, all them boys. But yeah, you know, that 89 game, mate, that's unbelievable. Liverpool were probably the best club team in the world, probably better than Barcelona, Madrid, Juventus at the time. They just didn't get beat. How many titles they won between like the 80s and 90s? It was probably about 14, weren't it? It was silly. They just won every single game. You didn't win at Anfield. You know, every single title. It was just Liverpool every year. Maybe Man United might creep one in, but I think unfortunately George just sort of fell out with a ball, sort of, didn't he? Over a few bits and pieces, political, but he played for Arsenal. He done the double with Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? As well, people forget he done the double with Arsenal, which was a one-off, and he also one of the only managers that won a trophy in Europe. Wenger didn't do that, did he?
Yeah.
Jules Graham won the Cup Winners' Cup against Parma, and that, you know, that was a big thing in itself. And Graham was unlucky that English teams were banned from Europe. When we won the league twice under him, we couldn't play in the European Cup, which was out of order. That's a totally different thing. But, you know, Arsenal weren't allowed to play in the European Cup. But yeah, they both deserve a statue. Wenger did transform a lot of stuff. He did, you know. He can't see new modern era football, weren't it? All the different things in training and stuff he done. He was unlucky. We could have won the European Cup, couldn't we, against Barcelona? I'll still say we was conned out that. I think the ref has even said he got the decision wrong there. We could all see that, you know what I mean? Once the keeper got sent off, that was game over again, weren't it? Even though we went 1-0 up, the game was dead. But and the Invincibles, you know, that's a one-off. That's never going to be beaten in my lifetime. I'll take my hat off if that happens. But Liverpool,
Don't
Man
take your
City
hat
have all
off, John.
tried it.
Don't take your hat off, mate.
Yeah.
Keep it on.
Hey! Liverpool, Man City, Man United, that's one thing they ain't got on us. The Invincibles, unbeaten throughout a whole season. And I think George Graham, he had the nearly Invincibles. They lost one game all season, I think, against Chelsea. And that ain't bad going either, Alex. So I wouldn't like to compare them. Two different eras, two different managers. Both deserve a statue somewhere along that Emirates. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well said, John. Well said. Right, Nomad says, how do you think Arsenal will cope with Thursday night football and Sunday games with young kids, Richard?
Well, look, this season we had the squad we had because we had no Europe. He's going to use some of those players that are coming back from loan. He's going to get some players in, and we're going to have a bigger squad. I think he needs to rotate a little better, but I think you will see more kids sort of Europa League early stages when you get the lesser teams, and then as you progress in that competition, then you'll see the more senior stars playing that. But I think for sort of a group games, and you're in a group which is lesser teams, you're going to expect Hutchinson, Patino, the Balligans, and younger players to get a chance to show what they can do with some experienced heads in there. And then I think we should be all right. I do think it will depend on how we strengthen and how many players we get in, but I'd be reasonably happy if we brought 6 players in. We kept Saliba, maybe Nelson, and go from there.
Okay, John, here's one for you from Ashley. He says, John, it's about time you upgraded from dial internet.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. Well, I started off on a laptop, didn't I? If you remember rightly.
Yeah.
I'll invest in one. I'll go back on it again. I'm all over the shot lately.
Ashley, do behave yourself, mate. John's a good geezer. He's a good
Yeah,
geezer.
no, well done, Ashley, mate. You're all right, mate.
Red card Shaka also cost us 4th spot, John.
Red card, he cost us 4th spot. Nah, I don't think he cost us 4th spot. He cost us points, yeah. Yeah, we were still in with a shout when we played Spurs, weren't we? You know, we could have got a draw with Spurs, a draw with Newcastle. We would have been all right. Beat Everton. So I'm not going to put it on any player. We've just indiscipline along the way between.
Yeah, I think what we've got to say is that the Aubameyangs, the Lacazettes, the Holdings, the Xhakas, those experienced players haven't done enough this season. They haven't put their hands up enough during the season, and the kids have shown them what to do.
Yeah, John, we can't hear you. I'm not sure what's happened. Can't hear you, John. Static says, hey, Alex on the panel, and goes on to say, Alex on the panel, the derby is definitely the worst. It's the worst. And we've got one here. Oh, my goodness. Arteta out. A long time. Arteta out. Nino says, 100K for Eddie Nketiah. Sorry, this is madness. Arteta's instructions to Xhaka: do everything, but do not tackle. That's a good one. Arteta should he go? If he doesn't get top 4 or a trophy, yes or no?
Well, I've already said next season you must be in the top 4 comfortably. You've got to have at least one cup, and you've got to be. The next thing is you've got to be 9 to 11 points away from City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because you've got to close that gap. Because then if he does that, the following season he's got to be 1 or 2 points away from City or Liverpool with a cup, and he'd be in Champions League anyway. But if he can't do that within the next 2 seasons, then he has to go, because by that time it shows that he's not got that capability. But as I said, next season the minimum is top 4 comfortably, 9 to 11 points away from City and Liverpool, and at least a cup. I'd like 2, but I'd take the Europa League.
Yeah, completely agree with you. For you, John, Arteta should he go if he doesn't get top 4 or a trophy next season?
Should he go? I don't think. Well, our opinion don't count, does it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He ain't gonna get Kroenke. Ain't gonna get rid of him. He suits Kroenke to a T, but it's going to be hard for them to get top 4. Other teams are going to be improving. You know, we're nowhere near Liverpool and Man City. They're not going to falter. They're not going to take their foot off the gas. Chelsea might slip up. Tottenham are improving, unfortunately. Man United will step up again, and Newcastle are going to have a hell of a lot of money to spend. So pressure's on. What I think, this could be controversial, Alex. What I think Arteta will concentrate on is Europa, because this is a way into the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? It could be an easier route than going for the top 4 spot. So if Arsenal get the players in that they need, get into the Europa final. We've been seeded in the top seeds at the moment, so we should be getting easier teams in our group. Europa is a way to the Champions League
they've changed
final
it as
next
well, haven't
season.
they? Now the
If we
winners
win it,
go into the last 16 automatically.
They've changed the rules, haven't they?
Yeah.
Is that what happens?
So it should be technically easier.
But,
this is.
Excuse me. But that's this is my take on it. I think Arteta's going to throw all the dice on the Europa Cup and hope to get to the final and eventually qualify for the European Champions League through that. He ain't interested in that League Cup. He ain't that bothered about the FA Cup. Yeah, that's sidelines for him. Premier League is totally unrealistic in my view. Yeah, they should be trying for the top 4 spot, but I think an easier route for them the Europa Cup.
Yeah. I completely agree
We'll
with
see
you.
what happens, Alex. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
What, you ain't got to play as many games, have you? Do you know what I mean? Playing lesser teams. It's not till you get the last sort of 8 that you're playing any decent teams in that Europa Cup. No offence to some of them earlier rounds, but they're pretty poor teams in it, in my view. And we should qualify. We should be getting to the quarterfinals. Then he's got 3 or 4 games, and they're in a final where Champions League is up for grabs. That's the easier route, what I think. But we'll see next season, won't we? We'll see.
Absolutely. Well, I agree with that. It's coming with it's going to be the last chat we'll feature. He says George Graham statue most definitely. Guys, we have finished on this last Each Talk of this season. And again, I'm probably going to echo the comments from my brother. Thank you to all our contributors who contributed the season. And again, there's just so many people. And it's the season's gone so quick. I just remember the first game, losing first 3 games, and like we're at the end of the season. My, I must be getting old, Richard. I must be getting old.
Yeah, you and me both.
But anyway, Richard, again, it's been a pleasure having you on the channel. John the Geezer, can't wait to see you in your pink top. We'll sort it out sometime very, very soon. But it's been a real pleasure to have everyone featuring, being part of the Cannon 4 TV family. Any parting words, final words, Richard, you want to say before?
Well, thanks. It's been a pleasure, and I've enjoyed being on. I've enjoyed watching the other contributors on there, and it's always been good talks and interesting points raised. And the same, I've enjoyed the back and forth with Colin, even though he's not been on tonight, so I'm not out talk. He's typing. I mean, I'm hoping to get a ticket to the Emirates Cup at the end of July. So if you can get there, we'll meet up and have a drink beforehand, and then after, and see what new players we've got.
Absolutely. John, final words, John.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure being invited on here, Alex. As I said before, meeting all your contributors, the moderators, talking about Arsenal. You know, it's only our opinion. It's only a laugh. You know what I mean? Don't take it too serious what we say. But we all want Arsenal to win. Come what may, we're all gooners. You know what I mean? And on a serious note, considering what happened, you know, before the season with the COVID and all that lot, this has been such an enjoyable pleasure for me to come on here, Alex. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, you know what I mean? It gives us something to focus on, the ups and downs of the Arsenal, do you know what I mean? It took our minds away from all the rubbish that was going on around us. And I know you guys have suffered with it all as well, and others probably watching have too. It's been great to focus on the old Gooners, you know what I mean? And next season it's going to be onwards and upwards, and it's going to be really good Euro. It's going to be great to be back. We're disappointed it ain't Champions League football. We probably weren't ready for it, if we're honest, you know what I mean? But back in that Europa, we've got a chance now to push forward and qualify for that for the next season. So onwards and upwards. Cronky, get your money out. Arteta, go and get your main striker, because you know the honeymoon is over, Arteta. This is it.
Yeah.
You've had your little honeymoon. Next season is serious business, and if he don't start off out the blocks, he's going to be in serious. He's going to have the fans breathing down his neck. So I know he's been lucky. He's got the support of all the fans. You know what I mean? He's on a manager to sort of get up. So get on with it.
Nice one, John. Nice one, John. Well, it's well said. Well said. So that's it. We are finished on this last easy talk.
And I've got to buy myself a pink top, Alex.
Yeah, you have. I can't wait for that one. Can't wait. It's going to be the highlight of my season anyway.
I've got to go down the lane with my pink top on, and I will do, mate. Don't you worry. I'll be down there. I'm not worried about them Tottenham boys. We'll have a laugh. You escaped the ice, didn't you, man? It swayed up and forth, man. I really thought you was getting that ice bucket now. Yeah, I was looking forward to that, but I stick to my part of the bargain, and I will do it. And it'd be great to come back next season. We all need a little break from Arsenal because it can do your brain in, can't it? And thanks to your missus and that, Alex, she puts up with you a lot, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does.
Coming on here every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So she's all part of your team, mate.
Yeah,
fair play to her.
Absolutely. Cheers. So that's it. We're finished on this one. I will be back on Sunday doing a show with my brother. We're doing our own version of the end of season. I'm not sure what he's going to be talking about, but I'll be back on Sunday. I won't be back tomorrow because I'm going to be out with the missus. Yeah. Anyway, anyway, guys, that's
big
been
up
it.
Ralph, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. Thank you. Up the Gooners! Come on, you Gooners! Yeah.